Hey, what's up guys, it's me New, and for this little strategy guide thing, I'm going to actually talk about the moves first and then give you the actual examples and situations after. So I'm not just talking about the moves, you're actually going to see all of them in concert together. So anyways, here's the video. Okay, so for today we're going to be talking about Osiris and Aquila, the two angelic weapons of DMC. So Osiris is honestly one of my favorite weapons. Arbiter is my favorite heavy demonic weapon, and the Revenant shotgun is my favorite projectile weapon. So these all can make a really nice combination of attacks when you use them properly and use them in the right situation. So for today I'm going to talk about using the angelic weapons properly and just how to use them in basic situations. So first we're going to start off with Osiris. Prop. Prop is a move that everyone should know how to use. It's a wonderful move. It's probably one of the best utility moves I've seen yet in this game. So it can deflect about anything. It has a lot of active frames. So you can start it up fairly early and you can end with it fairly late and you'll still catch enemies. So with prop you can actually suck enemies in if they're about to attack you while the animation's already going. So if you already have someone in the air, say an elite Stygian is about to attack you head on, you don't have to dodge. Literally just sit there and just let them get sucked into the little roller coaster animation, and it works out great. The second move's called Raise, and Raise is just this charge attack, and you just basically go up in the air and do this sort of pirouette thing going on in the air with the scythe. And it has a huge hitbox extending slightly past the visible portion. It can parry and lift anyone trying to attack you. About anyone. When it comes to those heavy enemies, don't count on lifting a butcher or say a tyrant or something like that. Just use it for those standard enemies that don't have their guard up. It's really good for that. And also a good move just to mix up and lift enemies without always having to use rebellion or say prop. Because prop is a really good launch, but it gets tired after a while. The dash move for the Osiris is really excellent. It's called Streak, and it's good for about any situation where you have a couple enemies just standing around, at least two enemies in proximity to each other. You can just dash and stop their attack animations, and you can actually get ready for a charge attack of your own and get that off before they start up their attack. It sets up really good for Tornado or Raise. Rake is a really nice skill. It doesn't do a lot of damage. The damage is almost non-existent. But Rake is basically for small groups, even big groups if they're clumped together, when you don't feel like using Aquila to grab them. And so most importantly, it picks up unwary opponents and foes that have dropped. A really good alternative to the Demon Grapple, and it's just a really nice move just to switch up. So the two other moves that I almost forgot to mention are Tornado with Aquila. Tornado is, I honestly love it. I feel like I need to use it more, but in order to use it, you have to be free. You really have to be free, and you have to try to make sure you get a good number of enemies to use it on to make it worthwhile and really just kick up that score through the roof. It's wonderful after using a really powerful attack or some sort of attack that just knocked the enemy down. So after using Raise or having a bunch of enemies in the air being juggled and then you come down and everyone's on the ground, use it and it just watch the fireworks. The other move, I forget what it's called for the life of me. I cannot remember what it's called, but you basically send out a blade with Aquila and you stop the opponent in their tracks. So it's a really great move. You can't use it on heavy enemies too well, but for flesh enemies, it's really good at sort of stopping them in their tracks. When you send a blade out, it stops the enemy for about 7 to 8 seconds, and depending on how long you charge the attack, it'll stop them for longer and it'll do more damage. So basically, if you send out a fully charged disc, you can do as much damage as Prop and Shredder at feed level 2. So sometimes it can take a while to use them, and typically if you are using them, it's in the heat of battle. And so just sending out 1 or 2 quick blades is better. But if you do get one off, the combo potential can really jump up. So keep that in mind too. Probably the most notable use, in my opinion, is for the rage enemies, those feral type beasts that basically just run around. If you have the ghosts or the blood rage, then of course things change a little bit and you can only use them on the ghost rages. If they're not the kind where you can only use one weapon on them, then I definitely suggest using it. It's a really great weapon. You know what? I almost forgot the most important move. I was about to actually just put this on YouTube right now, but I forgot buy-in. Buy-in is a move where it sucks everyone in and it gets them right next to you. So it can get up to a good 6 or 7 enemies more. You can use it in the air, on the ground, and it just sets up the groundwork so you can do whatever you want with these huge group of enemies. Use raise, any other moves that just completely wreck these enemies. Tornado, it doesn't matter. But buy-in it's probably just as important as prop, honestly. For the grapple uppercut, a really guaranteed way to use it is if you're actually right up in the opponent's face, and right when you hear that little grapple metal sound, you press the button right after that, and then you'll get it off every time. And if you're from far away, the timing might be a little bit harder, but a good way to get that actually without trying to get down every single timing is just look at the whip. So if you look at the whip and his arm, right when his arm goes right behind his back and the whip looks like it's right behind his back, press the button and you'll do the uppercut. So since the Frost Knight's an enemy that you have to deal with using angelic weapons, I'm just going to cover them real quick. I would cover the ghost rages, but I feel like it's more common sense and you just have to be careful with them jumping, pouncing, and whenever you get to the last ghost rage, be careful of, you know, their sort of pseudo invincibility. But anyways, let's get back to the Frost Knight. Frost Knight, he's not that hard, but at the same time is a little bit annoying. So you can deflect his projectiles and freeze him in the process, and so you can either take him out the battle for a couple seconds and focus on other enemies or focus on him. You can deflect his regular attacks with the Osiris regular attack, but honestly I wouldn't recommend it because the timing is really a little bit difficult. It's really hard for me actually. If you don't want to do that, you can actually just literally jump behind him after he does his attack, or dodge behind him and then attack him directly after that. And so another ability that people take for granted or don't even really use is the uppercut. And I'm guilty because I didn't even use it until the 3rd playthrough, but this move is amazing. It disarms enemies with shields, or rather it stuns them real quick so you can do what you want to do and then quickly get in and launch them or do whatever you want. And I mean, it's a wonderful move for them or any other enemies. In fact, I'd recommend incorporating it into just your regular style of play. The Witch isn't necessarily hard, but can be really annoying and actually can get harder the more the fight goes on. So if you have a lot of enemies and such, make sure to take care of her quick. Usually the best way to do that is to actually attack the other enemies. Just ignore her, and as soon as another enemy gets the shield, then just focus on her. Actually, after the shield is off, you can use any weapon you want. You can even use the Demonic Axe or Eric's. When she has the shield on, you can only use the angelic weapons. Just a small note, you can deflect the swords. You can actually grapple enemies into that pillar that pops up sometimes and actually does a lot of damage. If you can do that, do it. If you're trying to focus on the Witch explicitly, I'd say the best attacks to use are Round Trip, the one that I forgot the name of, and Prop mixed with Shredder. Round Trip is probably better because you can just fire and forget, and then basically when the shield goes down, she's dizzy. So to illustrate everything I just went over, I'm going to use these moves in a little situation and show you how I put all these moves together.
Hi. I am looking for Molly. I've been searching everywhere and I can't seem to find Molly. 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 Molly.
Alright guys, thanks, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and if you have any other ideas or anything like that, just let me know. If I missed anything, let me know, and if you liked it, let me know. So, this is my first video. I'm going to see how it goes, and hopefully I'll make some more, alright? Alright guys, thanks.